Right. This is episode 2. I'm here with my man, Jorge Barboza, and this is The Download with D-Lo. Thank you for joining me here today, George.
Yeah, thank you for having me, bro. I really appreciate it.
So I'd just like to start off with, we just want to give people actionable steps and things that they can do to improve and be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
And, it's circled around entrepreneurship, business ownership, and just being a good person.
Yeah. No, definitely. That plays a big role.
So, George, being young like myself, being a young entrepreneur and such a competitive industry, like what made you lead to believe that you could actually be successful in this industry?
More than anything, I feel like it was just the fact that, I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but definitely having that mindset of being able to just feel like you can do anything definitely plays a big role, especially because I do juggle a lot of different things. And, there's a lot of times where people tell you to just focus on one or just do one or the other, or, that it's not going to work doing all of that. But just believing in yourself really or believing in myself is really what got me to, get to where I am right now.
And how does that affect your day-to-day self-belief?
Especially as an entrepreneur and a business owner, you actually decide to take on more responsibilities and more roles, so I feel like, being able to know that you can just power through that day, is definitely a good way to start that day and power through, believing in yourself, although there's so much stuff going around and so much noise everywhere, just being able to focus and really just, do what you got to do.
And where did because, it's the self-belief, right? Where did that come from? Did that come from experience? Did that just come from an innate nature you've always had in yourself?
I think a lot of it is, it's a mix of both, actually. It's a mix of all of it. It's just a mix of, having the support of family and friends, that are just saying what you're doing. And, even just the congratulations, plays a big role in how you feel about stuff. And then also just trying out different things. Especially in high school, I always tried out as many things as I could, just so that I knew what I didn't want to do, And I feel like there's some stuff a lot of people don't do. I feel like a lot of people think of what they want to do, and then it's just a thought. They don't actually take action on it. And I've always been a guy that just takes action on stuff I want to do and things that I'm interested in. And then as I do it, I realize what I'd like, what I don't like, and what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And yeah, luckily I've been pretty good at some of the stuff I like doing, and I just focus on what I'm actually good at.
And now for the people who really don't know you, because they don't know you yet, even though I know you, my man Cade knows you. Can you kind of just tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am very much a business owner and entrepreneur. As you can see by my socials, I have 3 of them: my construction, my personal, and my real estate one. So you can definitely see I'm very much an entrepreneur, and I definitely am very business mind focused right now. But definitely I have, a lot of other stuff that I enjoy, like sports, working out, being out in nature, traveling as well is one big thing that I'm, definitely trying to prioritize, especially on this next year.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just I'm a lot of things to a lot of different people. It just depends on who you ask.
Right. Yeah. That NBA Youngboy song, I am who they say I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you heard it. I guess it's true. But no, but definitely once you get to know me though, you definitely see that I'm very caring, and that, as soon as we build a connection, you're more than just, an acquaintance or just a friend. You're, I look at you more as family, and I look after you. And, yeah, I just hope that that's how everybody sees me, at least.
And now how important has that, the fitness, the mindset, the the validation, right, from friends, family, and all that good stuff? It's how has that, and the traveling too, most important too, because I know that plays a really big part. How has your physical fitness and then your mental discipline and traveling, how's that important? How's that tie into your entrepreneurship?
Okay. Yeah, so more back to me thinking of it as it's more discipline than anything, because to have all of those things, you have to be disciplined. You can't travel the world without having any money. Right. And especially if you do travel without having money and you just figure it out, you get back to being broke. And then at that point, how do you do that, But, definitely it's about having discipline and being able to commit to the things you said you're going to do, so then you can have that lifestyle you want to have. just like being fit, like I have to be disciplined to, wake up at 4 in the morning to go to the gym at the time that I want to go. Like nobody's telling me to go at that time, but that's kind of the self-discipline that I decided that's the time I should be at the gym for me to maximize the rest of my day. And definitely all of that plays in a role in, how I am as an entrepreneur, because, for me to juggle all these things, you got to stay disciplined to be able to, follow up with clients, know what is going on in everything you're doing, and, just having everything together, so you can enjoy that lifestyle, just like me being able to be at the gym, me being able to be with family, me being able to travel, me being able to, even with my dog, be home with my dog, because,
Right.
that's important too, certain stuff like that, it definitely plays a big role. But that's kind of how, at least I tie it all into who I am as an entrepreneur, especially because that is, I mean, if you look at my pages, I mean, you see what's important,
Right.
Yeah.
So George, can you tell us about like maybe a turning point in your journey when, a moment that really defined what you're doing now?
A great moment that honestly defined it was that, I mean, it wasn't a specific moment that I can pinpoint, but it was more of like that realization that, me being experienced in construction, and then me having the ambition to be a real estate agent. It was really that realization of combining them both, and being able to, I mean, not necessarily like dip my toes in everything and try to, be like everything, but definitely knowing everything and being that guy that can be that resource, and that was definitely more valuable than, picking up a hammer and doing anything, and also, helping out a family, close on a house. Like, yeah, both of those are very important. And, the people who do that, definitely, some people love what they do. And if that's what you want to do, like, that's perfect. But I realized that I can combine them both, and as long as I'm experienced in both, I can bring a little more value. And, obviously, like, my value at that point goes a little bit up,
Right.
So it was just really that realization of being able to combine both worlds that are already working together, and just combining them, and especially when I talked to a lot of people about in the early stages too, when I was like what I was trying to do, because a lot of it was just telling people what I wanted to do and being like, oh, well, I kind of wanted to do this and I could combine this, and I want to get my real estate license, and I also have my construction company. And, combining those two, definitely I realized a lot of people like told me, they're like, dude, no one is doing this. Like, that's crazy. And, you explaining it to me right now, like, I don't know why I didn't even think about that.
So kind of narrowing down that focus
Yeah.
on really who you want to help and how you're going to do it.
Yeah. And like, although like everyone says like, yeah, you can just focus on one and be the best at that, and it's like, yeah, but, especially with what I do, I help a lot of people do fix and flips, and when you're helping people do fix and flips, it's an investment, so a lot of people are scared. They don't know what they're doing. They don't understand financing, construction, or real estate, being able to be that one person that understands, all of it. It's huge. People, you turn people who don't think that they can do it to people who are doing 4 or 5 in their first year.
Wow.
So at that point, it's just kind of, at least me being confident in what I know, what I'm doing, and then also being able to provide that in value to other people. And also not even expect anything back, because there's plenty of times where I've worked and I've helped people without getting anything out of it, but it's more the relationship. So, I mean, I guess I am getting the most out of it, which is the relationship.
I love that, because that just goes to, a close friend of mine, and he was also, a mentor to me. Mm-hmm. He said, ROE, return on energy, right? And what you're saying is just like awesome, because it's the truth of the universe. Like, you add value to people, and it just seems to come right back to you.
Yeah. And I have a strong belief of like, whatever you put out into the universe, you get back.
Right.
So at that point, like, if I'm just giving and giving and giving, like, one day I will receive, and it'll be a 10-fold, 20-fold, 100-fold, it's just, I just got to know that I don't got to be always looking out for my best interest. I got to be looking out for all of our best interest, as a whole.
Right.
And that's helped me more than anything in my business.
That mindset.
Yeah.
Right. And now, like, speaking of mindsets, like the morning's mindset, what's like your typical morning look like as an entrepreneur working their own schedule? Like, what does that look like?
So I'll tell you how ideally
Mm-hmm.
It is, especially because I can't say it is right now because, definitely a lot of stuff happens and I've even fell off on my routine. But the routine that was working for me the best and when I was actually doing the most production was when I was ideally I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning so that I could be at the gym around like 5:30 and then try to get my workout and everything. And I go to Lifetime, so I like get ready there and shower and everything there. And then from there, I'm out by like 7. So like right before anyone's even getting, out of their house to work, I'm already like getting out
Up,
of the gym,
showered, worked out.
steamed, like everything to just anything
Bruh.
I gotta do to just get my day prepared. Yeah. And then yeah, after that I basically started looking at my calendar just to kind of see what my day is planned out with. I use a lot of systems and other apps and stuff like that I use to just kind of make my day most productive as I can. So I just go there and kind of see what would be the best thing for me to do. And if I don't have anything like set in stone, like meeting with someone or checking out projects or having to meet with like an investor or something, um I just kind of play it by my tasks, and what I need to do. But yeah, basically that's pretty much my day. Just work from like 7 till like 5, and then after 5, depending if I went to the gym or not in the morning, then I'll go back to the gym,
Okay.
and then just kind of go back home and then just wind down for the rest of the day because after like 8, it's already like too much work that I've done for the day.
And now, like, what do you do to stay grounded? Like, because it seems like you're doing a lot throughout the day. Like,
Yeah.
what are some of the practices that you're doing to not feel overwhelmed?
A lot of it is trying to at least like schedule in fun time. That's kind of one way for me to kind of at least break myself from doing everything that I'm doing and kind of make myself a little more grounded is by, separating some time to go out with friends. Like I know a lot of people say like, oh, don't go out, don't be going out to the clubs to, especially if you're going to like, try to build something, like you're supposed to be locked in. And it's great being locked in, but if you're working every day for like 2-3 years and don't ever go out, like that's not good for you either. That'll
Right.
drain your mental health. So a lot of it is just trying to fit that in as I can, or trying to go out with my family, go out on dates with my girl, just be at home with my dog, like even just there sitting down with them.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, and yeah, just pretty much just try to fit in all my own like fun activities and personal stuff in it, especially because as an entrepreneur and a business owner, like more than anything, I know you understand that it like all of that seeps into everything else.
Right.
You could be at home like having dinner with your family and then boom, someone's calling you, needing you right now.
Yep.
You
You gotta
know,
bust out the laptop and work up pre-approval.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
it right then and there, So, there's really no downtime, so trying to fit that in is really what helps me at least feel grounded. I mean, I don't like succeed all the time, especially because there's a lot of times where, there's some stuff that comes up and you just have to deal with it. It doesn't matter where you are, like a deal will fall apart, money's, on the line, like it's important, so you have to like stop and sometimes, discourage just based off what you're doing, like, cause you could just be with your family and then boom, everybody's like, oh, he's working again. But it's just some of the stuff you got to do to kind of keep your business going, but then
Right.
also try to be at least, mindful of you're not your business, you're your own person, so you got to still have fun, still meet with people, build connections and do stuff other than work.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was like, with that being said, what was the biggest mindset shift that you had
The
that like
biggest,
transformed your business today?
yeah, so it was just basically realizing that building a team and building a group of people that want to work not for you but with you, so that they can also achieve what they want. That's when I realized that I can have everything I want. I just need to be with like-minded people who want to achieve the same goal. And whether that's like, I mean, not everyone wants to work for a company and then build that company up for the owner,
Right.
but at the same time, they definitely want to work their way up and be somewhere where they're valued and they're getting the money and they're, getting all the stuff that they want to value, whether that's family, time, or a career. And it's just finding those people that, they want to work together, and it just conveniently is through one business, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for, to be able to just build a team and keep doing what I'm doing. So then one day I can step away and then everyone still has the same ambition, still has the same responsibilities and even are pushing more, because they themselves want to, not because I'm there. Because then as soon as you step away, that might start dying down,
Right.
because you might have been the only reason why people were pushing,
Hmm.
you know.
And it really sounds like you have to help others to help yourself.
And that's really what it is. Because if you realize all the people who are really successful, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people who are really greedy that are successful, but at the end of the day, the people who are the most successful and keep getting more successful are the people that are helping other people,
Right.
and helping, just helping others grow and become their better selves, and then in turn, you yourself will also be your better self, because how are you going to help someone be their better self if you're not your better self? So it's just kind of like a good way for everyone just to hold each other accountable. And more than anything, that's what I realized that was, the biggest turning point, that I was like, it's cool, doing what I'm doing, but I'm working way too hard.
Right.
I'm doing way too much, and I'm letting stuff even slip too. There was a lot of stuff that I would slip, a lot of like money that I just left on the table because I just was trying to be all of it.
Right.
And at the end of the day, if you bring in people to help you, that's where they start picking up the slack of where you're lacking in, especially because you might think you're the
Start
best.
filling those gaps almost.
Yeah, exactly. So you might feel like you're the best at everything, but then there might be someone who literally went to school to do this, or like studied this to do this, or even did this at another job.
And they're legit.
They were yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not want them to do it for you rather than you? So it's kind of like stuff like that I
Like
realized
they're
that
built for this.
exactly, like exactly like you, bro. Like, why would
Yeah.
I go into loans when I got you, bro? Like,
Right.
at that point, like, I don't need to get into any other field or any other thing if I just got someone who's the best at that doing that for me.
I feel the same way with houses, man. I don't need to sell it. I got
Exactly.
you.
Yeah, exactly. It was just work hand in hand.
Yeah.
And then when we do come together to meet with someone, they feel comfortable, because instead of seeing one guy who's doing it all, they see a team of people who are working together to help, so then if there's like 5 fires, just know there's enough people to help put it out and do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And now, like, for someone who wants to start in real estate investing, like, what would you tell them? Especially, they could definitely feel intimidated starting today.
Yeah. No, yeah. Investing is definitely something that's very intimidating, especially because there's so many moving parts. So I feel like one way that someone could, get started in this, or at least feel a lot more confident going into it, is I would first do as much research as you can, because there's so much free stuff online for you to like research and educate yourself on, so if you just really don't understand, you could literally just search it up, and then from there, at least have a basic knowledge to then, go to someone. And that's what I would recommend after that, is just to go to someone, whether that's like someone in person, or even on social media, like even just DM someone that's doing what you're wanting to do, and then just being like, hey, like, I've been learning about this, and at least have some basic knowledge as well, because then at the same time, like, you got to value their time, like, they're big people doing big things, and like, yes, everyone loves to help other people, but at the same time, like, if you don't want to help yourself, why would they stop everything they're doing to help you? So if you can kind of at least have some basic education and knowledge, which is all free online, go to them and just tell them your situation, tell them where you're at. And then from there, like, they're more than anything, people will help. There will be a lot of people who won't, and don't get discouraged by that, especially because everyone is busy. Everyone is busy living their own lives, doing their own thing, but there will be a few amount of people that will, and actually will want to help you. They will contact you, they will reach out, maybe schedule an appointment or something, and, just keep pushing until you find those connections, because at the end of the day, it's the connections that you build rather than the knowledge you have. Because what's the point of having all this knowledge if you don't know how to piece it together? If you don't have the people to piece it together, especially because in this business, you have to have multiple people. Like, there's lenders, there's real estate agents, there's construction companies, then there's the individual investor, and then there's a group of investors, so there's just so many moving parts that it can get confusing. So just getting that basic knowledge, then reaching out, and then from there, finding your way in on how it is, just because every situation is different and you can kind of get in anywhere. And I kind of explained that by, experience, because that's exactly what I did. When I first, I guess I would say when I first got interested in real estate, I was actually working at a moving company. And I was just listening to podcasts, YouTube videos, this and that. And then one day I just got tired of working every day. And I was just like, I had a move past this, you know. And then I started reaching out to people, getting on group pages, like learning. And then I was just reaching out to people, and then luckily one guy was like, hey, actually I'm an agent. I know investments. I actually have a house if you don't mind helping me flip it. And at the time, I was working at a interior trim company.
Okay.
So I was just like finding my way to get in there.
So pre-construction company. Okay.
So yeah. So it was just like I was working at a moving company. And then I got tired of working every day there. And then I moved into doing construction because I thought that was a good way for me to get into investments at least. And then after that, I was reaching out to people. One guy actually reached out connected with me after I reached out and offered to show me kind of what he knew. And then from there, he actually said he had a property, if I can help him do a little bit of construction, just of what I basically knew. And that was my first official house that I flipped. And then from there, I realized, I was like, bro, this is easy. Like, it's just having to work.
Right.
And
the work in.
Yeah, exactly. So then after that, I just started just trying to get more jobs, trying to do more things. And then in December of 2020 was when I officially started my business. And then from there, I kind of just started working with more investors, just trying to get regular jobs. And it kind of just started building all of this.
And now, starting in 2020 in December, can you share a time when something didn't quite go your way and you had to, overcome a setback?
Yeah. I think honestly my biggest, which I feel like is also a turning point as well, was when I was actually trying to get into real estate. And I had a deal that kind of got blown up all crazy, and it was just, I mean, everything went well at the end, but relationships were lost, money was on the table. It was just a lot of stuff that was just kind of not in the best position, and
a lot of unneeded stress.
Yeah, exactly. Everything went well. At the end, everyone was happy. We closed. Yeah, everyone got what they wanted essentially, but it was at a bigger cost, and it kind of discouraged me a bit when I first got in. So it's because when this had happened, I was already with my construction company a couple of years, and I wanted to get into real estate, especially because that was my original goal, was to get into real estate first. But because I was doing my construction and I found that way to be easier money, right now, I just kept up at that. But one day I just locked in and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just get my license and I'm just gonna go ahead and just focus on that, that's it, and I did do that. Once I got my license, I ended up basically stopping my construction company for 3-4 months, I think. And in my first 2 months of real estate, once I got my license, I closed on my first deal.
Oh, wow, it's fast.
Yeah. And then right after, I got a listing, and it was that listing that kind of went, sideways.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of, I teamed up with someone to do it with me, especially because I was just, I'm new and I didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, let me look for someone that can help me, become the best real estate agent I can. So I joined a team, and I joined, this guy that was just helping me. And basically at the end of it, it kind of made it seem like I wasn't even the face of the listing, especially that I'm the one who brought it. They didn't want me to represent it. And then I got offered way less on the commission, which it was something that, I didn't really pay attention to. I was just happy to be in real estate. So I was just signing papers, going through, joining teams. And after that, it was just kind of the whole sell of it was just very stressful. And then anytime when stuff went sideways, I was the one who was to blame, because I was the main contact between everyone.
You're holding the glue,
exactly.
On both sides, you're like, yeah.
And then at the end, it kind of just seemed like it wasn't going well. They did price reductions, stuff like that happened, where it was just getting more stressful.
Right.
And it just, at the end of it, it just all fell on me, and especially that other partner, he just went ahead and just put all the blame on me, and basically told me that he was just like, you know what, we can't be working together anymore. You're not a great fit for me, this and that. And, it very discouraged me, because I just felt like I was putting my all into it. I definitely, it was a goal of mine to become an agent for like 4 or 5 years. And then I finally did it,
Right.
and then as an agent, I then, got my first buyer, then my first listing, like in my first 3 months, and a lot of people tell you that when you become an agent, expect to not get paid for the first 6 months.
Right.
So for me to get that in like my first three, it was just it kind of made me feel confident in what I was doing and that I knew that I was going to do well, but then after all of that happened, it kind of just discouraged me so much that I was just like, bro, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. Like, is this the type of person I even want to be?
Right.
Especially because to be an agent, I feel like you do have to have a certain personality and a certain you just have to be a certain type of person because it is a lot of like working with people.
Right.
And
on the on the lending side, we like to joke around like to be a real estate agent is to not be able to hold a W-2 job.
no, I'm about to exactly right, bro. You see more people than anything being like, I'll just get my real estate license,
right,
and just think that that's a quick out. No,
well,
yeah.
Well, it's I think it's entrepreneurship is for the creative type.
Yeah.
It was probably those people who were maybe doing C's and B's, maybe even D's,
just enough to pass.
Yeah, and they're thinking about other shit,
Yeah.
How to be more creative and do the things that they really want to do.
Yeah.
So it's actually a form of intelligence because it's like they want to work on something that actually
matters.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, you're definitely right. I mean, I was definitely a student that was B, C, sometimes an A if I really liked the class.
Right.
But for the most part, it was just to get by,
Yeah.
because I knew at the end of the day, like high school was just kind of something to step you into, adulthood, and really what you do at the end of that is what matters. And that's why I did try a lot of different things because I was like, what, I'm going to try to figure this out now.
Right.
Like, I'm already in here. All this is free in school, so then once you get out of it, that's when I realized that there was a lot of stuff I didn't want to do, and I kind of had a clearer vision of what I wanted to do at least.
And I was going to ask you too, do you come from like a background of like college goers or anything like that? Or did you go to college yourself?
No, actually, well, my parents are actually originally from Mexico.
Okay.
From DF, Mexico City. They came here, I think, literally like a year before I was born.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was born here.
Yep.
And yeah, they never really got educated like that. They were more focused on just getting us to a better opportunity, and they definitely did their job, so I'm going to look at my job. Yeah. And then thank you. I did go to college. I went to CCD. I'm in a community college, but I did go there to do business management and marketing.
Nice.
I was considering going to Johnson & Wales University, but it was just way too expensive. Once I saw that, I think it was like $140,000 that they wanted me to pay, and I even got a $48,000.
Was that a year or was that total?
I think it was the total
for
that
4
I
years.
calculated. Yeah, but I even got a scholarship for what was it, like $48,000, and I still had to pay like $140. And then they wanted me to live in campus the first 2 years, and it was like $12,000 a year, or was it a semester? I can't remember, something like that. Where I was just like, bro, I don't even.
How am I going to do this?
I can't.
Yeah, that was a big discourager for me, and why I was just like set and joining the military.
Yeah,
because I think to CSU out of state tuition was like 40,000. And I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
No scholarship either. Yeah.
Yeah, it is tough. It's tough, especially when you're trying to do that traditional, go to college, get your degree, and then, just live your life.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, definitely my family, I mean, they definitely did their best on, getting us to the opportunity, but they're not, from college, and, their whole mindset and everything growing up was just to bring us here, and try to give us the best opportunity. And I do have my older sister who just graduated this year. I do have another sister who also has taken a couple classes to be a medical assistant.
Nice.
And then I have another sister who I think she wants to become an attorney, I believe.
Wow.
And she's going to school for that.
So, schooling doesn't necessarily matters, right? Because, I was at your parents' previous home.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful home. Very beautiful home. So you can be successful.
Yeah.
With or without school, right?
Yeah, it's really just the hard work and the dedication you have to just trying to better your life. Is just really what it is, because there's a lot of people who just think that their life is just what it is, and that's what it's always going to be.
And now from From the schooling that you did have, how important was that in what you do now? Does that play a big part in what you do today?
I do. I do think education is very important because obviously if you don't know what you're talking about or what you're doing, it's hard to, be validated.
Right.
And especially like me, yeah, I don't have a degree that I can show, but from my experiences of all the classes I've taken, going to community college for 2 years and then also my real estate class. And then there's a lot of independent classes that I also take, like courses and stuff. All of that plays a big role in kind of just helping me become the guy who I'm saying I am.
Yeah.
Especially because at the end of the day, like, you are who you believe you are. And, I definitely believe myself to be, educated and at least somewhat smart,
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah. All of that plays a role into what I do because if I didn't know any of that, I don't know how I would have been able to piece everything together.
Great.
And
now, like, for a lot of listeners who are feeling stuck or like they don't have the resources to start, what is your advice to building something new?
I feel like the biggest advice I can give is just trying to see if that, actually, I need to think about that a little more. That is a good question.
You let it bake.
Repeat that for me, bro, please.
Yeah. So, like, just advice for building something out of nothing, right? Because you were working at a moving company,
yeah,
right? And you had thought about this thing, but like, how did you build it from nothing?
I feel like more than anything...
What's the advice you'd give somebody?
More than anything, I feel like the biggest advice that I could give is just be confident in yourself. Like, although, like, yeah, you don't have a clear step-by-step process of how you're going to get there, like, as long as you can see your first step, just go. Like, it's like, especially like if you're in a snowstorm, like, you can't see anything, right? You can't even see 10 feet in front of you, but you could see the 10 feet in front of you. So just keep moving forward. And if you have to stop, move, or do whatever.
Yeah, sometimes I'm mad. You're just like,
yeah.
And
like, yeah, you're going to hit something maybe, but at the end of the day, like, you need to get to where you're going to go. If not, you're going to be stuck, and you're going to be there.
Right.
And I feel like being stuck and stopped is worse than struggling to get to where you want to be. Because at least you're struggling for a purpose. You're not struggling and you're not stopping because you just don't know what to do. Because I feel like that more than anything, I feel like that's kind of what scares people is just them feeling like they don't know what to do. But I feel like you just need to know, like, and have that confidence and that faith of like, you know what, like, it doesn't matter that I don't know what to do. I just need to figure out how to take my next step. And that next step might be just listening to a podcast like right now, or going to YouTube and searching up, how to do this, or even DMing someone, hey, I've been interested in this. Can you help me understand it a bit more? Or even just going to networking events too. Like, there's so many free networking events that you could just go and meet like 50 people that are actively doing stuff, and just see what they're up to and see how you can fit in.
Network. If you guys didn't hear that, network.
Yeah.
Network is your net worth. It's just the truth.
That's what I was just about to say.
It's just the
right
truth,
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, but no, yeah, that's definitely like the biggest advice that I can give is just have that faith and that, confidence in yourself that one day it'll all come together. Especially because like right now I definitely do not have it together, but I have enough together to where I know if I just keep going, eventually it'll all come together.
Right. The final product.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, how important has it been to master time, like, as a business owner?
It's huge. I feel like time, more than anything, especially once you start getting into, different environments and with different people that value different stuff, you realize that the biggest thing that everyone values is time, So if anything, maximizing your time is what's important. And that's kind of what I've been struggling with over the past couple of years. And I feel like now I'm kind of getting a good, shape of what to do with my time and how to maximize my time. So then that way I'm actually getting everything I need, especially with so many things. But, more than anything, I think time blocking is what has helped me. And that's given me a lot of time back, especially because, you just focus on what you got to do with the time you allocated, and then the rest of the time you have allocated for something else, you just focus on that,
So, like, for an even more high-level overview, for our investors, on the channel who are following, what are some things that they can do to save time on their fix and flip projects?
That's a great question because I feel like that's a big reason I'm here for. I feel like that's the big reason I get hired for. actually. I feel like the biggest way that you can do it is, obviously it's like real easy, but prepping, and planning. More than anything, prep and plan your flip, like literally every single thing. That's the one thing that's helped me. It's taken a lot of time for me to actually be able to dial that in to, plan for everything. But if you can plan for everything, then all you do is just follow that plan, and there will be some stuff that fall out of place, but for the most part, if you have a clear plan of what you want the flip to look, timeline on when you want certain trades to go in, that's the biggest thing, that can help. And apart from that, it would be that I found at least a little easier. I know some people don't like it because they say it costs a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
but doing it by trade, that's one thing that I found to be like the biggest thing
What do you
that's
mean by
impacted
that,
that.
doing it by trade?
So there's a lot of people who, when they buy flips, they're like, oh yeah, I got my guy, he can do it, like he has like 4 or 5 guys, like a crew of 4 or 5 guys, they can do all of it, like yes, like very much so, like there's a lot of crews that can do that, but how long do they do that? How long does it take for them to do all the drywall, do all the electrical, run all the, do all the plumbing, put all the flooring in, tile? Like those are a lot of like, tedious tasks that take a lot of time and especially a lot of effort to give the quality, that you're expecting. So I have broken it down by trade. So
Okay.
I hire one person to just solely focus on one thing, like one flooring guy to install all the floors, one trim guy to install all the doors and base. I mean, and it doesn't have to be just one guy. I mean, they can
But you're
do it.
compartmentalizing it
Yes,
with the specialists.
so that
Okay.
they know what they're doing. They're focused solely on that. And we know we're going to get the best quality out of them because they do that every day, And then for the most part, a lot of these trade guys, they know time is money, and since they have already mastered their craft, they're in and out, So what might take that guy that, is doing everything, a couple of days to, do the floor, do the trim and paint, my guys can get it done in like a day,
Mm.
one right after another,
Schedule them back to back
yeah,
to back to
exactly.
back.
And
Okay.
then obviously you do have to account for like certain times, like where, material might not be there. They might have to fix something, stuff that might just delay the project.
Okay.
But if you do plan it by trade, you can at least know and anticipate when stuff will for sure be done and who's even at your site doing stuff, especially because, at the end of the day, if you don't plan it out properly, the time is what might kill your deal, because everyone knows, if you're doing a fix and flip and you're doing it as an investment, you're getting hard money, and hard money is interest only payments.
You just touched base on my next question. It's like, what's the most common ways that are people taking down these properties, these fix and flips?
Yeah, a lot of it is private money and fix and flips.
Okay.
Or I mean, private money and hard money. But at the end of the day, they use the private money to get hard money, So it just kind of, for the most part, it is just hard money. There is some people that have cash and some people that can do traditional loans and stuff like that to get it. But we just tailor it depending on what the deal is needed for. But at the end of the day, I work with a lot of people that do hard money loans. And that's the quickest and easiest way to kind of get your property. And especially if you're doing it as a business, you want to try to maximize, your business profit. So
Right.
for you to be able to do that and do multiple, hard money is the route.
Okay. And now, like, advice to the young hustlers out there, man, just like us,
Yeah.
in their 20s, like, what would you say? People who feel like too experienced to succeed, or like maybe imposter syndrome because they don't have the experience that they need yet.
Yeah.
What would you kind of impart with them?
I would just say is just keep doing you, bro. Keep going at what you're hoping to get, especially because like although you don't have it together, like I said, bro, like if you keep being in the rooms, that have opportunity, talking to people about opportunity, having that mindset where all you're thinking of is opportunity, it'll just all end up coming, especially because even me, I thought I knew what I knew because of what I learned, but I have never done it before,
Right.
So at that point, how am I gonna convince someone to do a fix and flip with me if I've never done it before? All I know is just the free education that I got from online.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's scary, but for the most part is just keep going at it, keep educating yourself and keep connecting with people, because those connections will actually teach you more than what, you can yourself research or learn.
So maybe even like finding a mentor in that space that you want to be in,
yeah,
and just kind of being that like fly on the wall, and
exactly.
maybe even seeing how you can add value to them.
Yeah, and that's actually the biggest thing. Like you can always reach out to people, but providing value to them is what will actually get them to help you. You know, because at the end of the day, like it's not, you know, not to say that it's a relationship where it's you have to give me something for me to give you something, but it's more of like these people are already doing a lot of things, you know. So if you can find a good coach or someone to train you through this, you got to provide as much value to them, because you have nothing to really give them, because they're the ones giving you stuff,
Right.
you know. And the only thing you can give them is your time, attention, and just any support you can at that, you know, at that level, you know. So it's just really, and even if you really feel like you can't provide any value, like just try to be around, at least engage with what they're doing, you know, whether that's online, liking all their stuff, or, you know, commenting like a thumbs up or even a fire emoji on like a post that they're doing, you know, because a lot of people notice that, like whenever people like, and
so even like the small interactions,
like even stuff like that will eventually get you around their circle, you know. And then especially when the opportunity comes, because it will come, you know, they will, you know, be able to kind of see you as like, your connection would just be a little bit more deeper, you know, because they're already like, oh, they enjoy everything I do, you know, like let's figure out how to do something together, you know. Especially, or at least that's how I have my mindset at, like whenever people react to my stuff or comment on my stuff or do anything, I'm just always trying to think of ways to like do stuff with them, where I'm like, you know what, like, let's collab. Yeah.
So
Like,
collaborate over competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You know, because no one's competition, bro. Like no one is competition. All it is just people you can partner with, people you can collab with. You know, it's just opportunities that are just waiting to be met.
I love that.
You know.
And now, like in all of this, how have you handled fear?
More
Just
than anything,
getting to the point that you are at today.
yeah. More than anything is actually having that evidence, and having that evidence of like people around me that are successful doing what I'm doing. So I'm not scared to keep going because I see them, you know, knowing that, you know, what I'm doing is, you know, for a bigger thing, you know, than me, you know. So at the end of it, it's like, I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for everyone around me, you know. So it's just kind of like going back to just realizing what's important and what I actually value. So then that way I don't have that fear of what I'm doing or not doing. You know, at that point, I'm more just doing what I got to do, you know,
Right.
whether there's fear involved, whether there's, you know, pain involved, like just keep pushing forward.
And my last question for you today is, what's next? Like, what's your vision for the future?
Oh, I have big plans, bro, actually. I have really big plans. I'm trying to build, obviously, my 2 businesses still. But I definitely am thinking about expanding into different businesses, just that, you know, that kind of help correlate the whole system.
Okay.
You know, and then bringing in people, bro. That's the biggest thing that, you know, I'm looking forward to, is just bringing more people that are looking to just try to do the same thing I'm doing, or, you know, trying to do something where, you know, if they collab with me, I can, you know, at least help them out with that, you know, because I also am looking for someone in that aspect.
Right.
You know, so it's just mainly connecting with people who are, you know, like-minded and are trying to do something in, you know, the same terms as I am, you know, and then we just collab and work together. So if anything, yeah, this year is definitely, you know, to bring on more people, bring on more investors, and just try to just grow what I have. Because I feel like these last couple of years, I've been just locking down, keeping it cool, to just try to perfect my process. And I feel like I now have it close to perfection, to where I can actually start providing that to everyone else and start bringing people on to receive that value, and, you know, then themselves, you know, get into better positions.
And now, dude, what's one thing you just want to leave with the audience? Final takeaway before we get out of here today.
One last thing, I feel like that's very important, and I'm just saying it just because I like would want to say it to myself.
Yeah.
Is just that no matter what you're doing, like, just as long as you have a clear vision of who you want to become and the person you want to be, just keep going forward, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that hold you back, and a lot of stuff that, you know, kind of just make you feel like stuff isn't working out, or that you should go the other way and like turn back, you know. Just keep going, because you're doing great. Like at the end of the day, like you know how hard you're working, and that's all that matters. People can tell you all these things, and it might discourage you, but you know what you're doing, and you know you're trying, and that's all that matters. And I feel like a lot of people don't give people that recognition of that they're trying, because not everyone sees what you're going through or what you're actually up to. Nobody sees those late nights that I've had, and gone through, and it's kind of discouraging. But at the end of the day, like I am doing great. Everyone else is doing great. Everyone is trying, and as long as you're just trying, that's all that matters.
So all you can do is your best.
Mm-hmm.
And then for my audience too, where they can find you at? Social media.
Yeah,
handles.
social media. You can find me at Instagram at barboza.invest. You can follow my real estate page at barboza.realty. And then you can follow my construction page at athenas.construction.
Awesome. And you know where you can find me at? dtown_30. This is the download with D-Lo with my man Jorge Barbosa. Thank you, my man.
Thank you, bro.
Catch you later.